So the importance of admissions, we go to them, yep. Essentially, what we've been finding is that there's, and this is something to be, you probably all know this with your level of work, but also it's important to share this with your teams. People forget this, that students need to be able to get into university easily. And what we've found is the application and admissions process is quite complex, and that impacts on the students' ease of entry, their willingness to keep on going on with a difficult path, form, process, and they can easily opt out and go and start an application process at another university. So there's quite a competitive advantage in having a really good process. So that's important. You want to have the path of least resistance. You have to be easy to do business with. The importance of business admissions around income generation can't be underestimated, and we have a slide indicating some distinct advantages of having good admissions per dollar value. The admissions process is, in our opinion, the bread and butter of work at universities. Now, graduations is the end result and very important, and progressions is very important, and there are a whole bunch of other processes that are very important. But actually, without an admissions process that works efficiently and effectively and achieving your target numbers, the income of the university is impacted directly and almost immediately. So it's a very important aspect of work that keeps the organisation running. Student satisfaction has become top of mind for most, if not all, universities. We have data from surveys, Quilt and others, to show how important that is in terms of marketing and also, again, competitive advantage. We think that the engagement of students through the admissions process can be improved a lot, and the ability to have a high satisfaction finding for the admissions process is a good thing for a university. The process should be engaging, it should be enjoyable, it often isn't, and the outcome should be that a student feels satisfied at the end of that process. Clearly, universities and higher ed providers are here to produce graduates to get jobs. So it starts with admissions because you have to get them in. But in that getting in process, you have to actually get the right people into the right courses to so ultimately have the right jobs. And often areas we find use the excuse, oh, the student didn't apply into the right course and so they've dropped out, and that's the reason for our drop-off rate. Actually, that can be really addressed with an improved process and making sure that the right students get into the right courses at their first go. And if they have to transfer, to make that process really easy and not another huge step for them. And then finally, the importance of admissions is very much around the TEQSA requirements. So the regulatory requirements are quite clear. There's the admissions transparency work that TEQSA have done. But we find through the process, talking to stakeholders, and this is particularly in the faculties, less so in the central teams, that the academics don't really know and understand the admissions criteria, the standards related to those, and particularly related to credit and communication of advice to students, and may often be in breach of those standards. And that in itself is a really important criteria to make sure that the process is well understood and well known from end to end and documented. On the next slide, we've put together some data which Ian's going to speak to, which is quite telling. So I will hand that one over to him.
This is designed to scare you a little bit. We've worked, as Di said, with quite a number of universities and private providers over the last 12 months. And this is a summary of their actual results. So it's not one university, it's the 6 unis and a couple of private providers added together. And it tells the story that everyone tells me when I'm talking admissions. They say, we're working incredibly hard, there's so much happening, but we never seem to get enough students. And this is why, I guess, or this is what happens to them. So if you look at the start, how many people start an application with you? So this is not even a UAC or UTAC or SATAC or wherever if you use a TAC. This is direct applications. How many people start an application? So marketing has got them interested enough for them to go to your website, log in, create an account and start applying. but only 68% of them actually submit the application. So a lot of them start it but never finish it. You know, so there's a question in there, well, why is that? Why don't they finish it? Is it too hard? Is it too complex? Is it just such a difficult process? And I always make the comment about, if you want to borrow $50,000 from a bank, you can actually do that a heck of a lot easier than you can get into a uni. So, you know, and you can do it on your phone in about 6 questions. So, you know, do we make it too complicated at that initial stage? And are there leaps of faith in your form where the student or the prospective student just doesn't know what to do? So they just bug out, basically. So only 68% of that original starting point submit. Of those, then, only 54% of them have actually put everything in that they needed to. So there's a large people who do submit the application, but there's missing documentation or something's missing and you can't process it. So you have to go back to the student and ask for more information. Again, that's a hassle for the student. That's a delay. You've gone from Di's going to talk a little bit about the people side of this in a minute, but normally when people are making an application, they're quite excited. You know, this is part of my future. This is a really good time. But then I get stuck and I haven't done it right and people want more info. And so, you know, again, some bug out. Of those then that put it in, only 31% actually get an offer. So there were a whole lot of people who didn't meet the criteria, or the class was full, or the program was full. Whatever reason, they then don't get an offer at all. So you've done a lot of work at this point, I should point out. If your admissions team have done a lot of work to get to this point. So 185 started, 58 people got an offer. So you've lost 2/3 of your applicants already. Of those, then only 19% actually accept their offer. The scary number, only 12% then enroll, and only 10% of actually are still there at the census date. So when you look at retention that the government reports, you don't exist until you've got to census date. So this doesn't appear in the government data. The government data is beyond that. So not all the people then finish their degree. So, but you just think about the amount of work that's gone in, the amount of investment and money that's gone into only converting 10%. And I think one of the reasons for this is that everybody looks to the admissions team to solve everything with a silver bullet, but they're just one player in this. Marketing is part of this. Whatever your recruitment future students area is part of this. Your student support is part of this. The nurturing conversion team are part of this. Your faculties, colleges, whatever you call them, are part of this. If you've got the programs or the courses that students don't want to do, they're going to bug out from this. If you've got people saying, oh, I want you to put all these questions in the admissions process because it's the only time I can ask these questions, then you're just making it hard. You should only ask the questions that are relevant to admissions in that first bit, because you get another crack at it later on when they come to enroll. But you should only ask what you need to know to help you make a decision, because you surely should need to try and make this as simple as possible. So if you want to convert, well, if you want to grow your student numbers, picking up 1%, 2%, 3% at each point along here will in fact solve it for you. You don't really even need to market anymore. You don't need to bring any more in the top of the funnel. You need to just work out how to get a better conversion at every point. And when we talk the 10 tips, we're going to talk about what are those conversion points and what you can do. But this number scares me, and I say they're real numbers from the unis and the private providers we've worked with. But this is why everyone's working so hard, but still not satisfying their bosses with enough numbers. But it isn't just an admissions thing. It's a whole of university thing. Everybody should care about this.